What is the spiritual dream meaning of angels?
What if the night Joan of Arc dreamed of angels wasn't divine madness, but her psyche handing her the only survival tools she had?
To understand this, you have to understand the story of Joan of Arc.
So, picture this. It's 15th century France. She's a peasant girl. She has no army, no title, and absolutely zero power. The world is telling her she is nothing, a nobody. But then, at 13, something happens. She starts getting these visitations. Radiant figures, archangels, saints. They appear in that strange space right between sleep and waking. And these weren't just fuzzy images, They spoke to her. They gave her a direction, a mission that flew in the face of every single limitation her world had put on her.
And here's the unbelievable part. She listened. She actually acted on these dreams. By 19, this peasant girl had convinced commanders, gotten an army, and liberated Orleans, completely turning the tide of a war. A year later, she was captured and executed. And then 500 years after that, the very same institution that burned her at the stake made her a saint. So what was really going on? Well, the psychological take on this is fascinating. Her angel dreams, they weren't delusions. They were her own deep subconscious, her psyche, building the most powerful, most authoritative messengers it could imagine, angels, just to tell her the truth of who she was. And that is not a small thing. That is everything. Which brings us to your psyche's authority and what it means when it sends you a message. So let me ask you, what if that angel you dreamed about wasn't just a random image? What if it was your psyche's most desperate attempt to get you to finally pay attention? What if your subconscious is literally trying to hand you a mission you've been too damn afraid to accept? And what if this dream isn't some flowery metaphor? What if it's a direct message? Look, these aren't just ideas to play with. For some people, these are survival questions. So let's talk about the language these messengers use and why your body is physically wired to pay attention. Think about it. When you have an angel dream, you don't just roll over and forget it. You wake up differently. Your heart is pounding. The dream sticks to you all day. That's not an accident. That is your nervous system screaming at you, pay attention. The psychologist Carl Jung actually had a term for this. He called these figures luminous beings. He saw them as expressions of the self archetype, basically the deepest, most whole part of you, your psyche's core intelligence. It dresses itself up in whatever images your mind considers the most sacred, the most powerful. And for so many of us, that's an angel. So is it a divine messenger from outside or your own deepest intelligence from within? You know what? It almost doesn't matter. Either way, the source is incredibly powerful and the message is critical. The encounter is what's real. From a cognitive viewpoint, here's how it often breaks down. 1, your core beliefs about yourself are under attack. A job, a relationship, maybe just your own inner critic is telling you you're not good enough. 2, your dreaming mind knows that's a lie. It knows you're worthy. So 3, it sends in the cavalry. It sends an angel to prove it. So who actually gets these messages? Who has these dreams? It's not just the devout. These dreams happen to people who are completely exhausted. They happen to people who are grieving. They show up for those standing on the edge of a decision that absolutely terrifies them. And listen, they happen to women who have forgotten, or maybe were never even told, that they are worth protecting. And here is the most crucial part. The angel doesn't appear to save you. The angel appears because some part of you still believes you're worth saving. Which brings us right here, to the choice, to your Joan of Arc moment. Do not dismiss that dream. Seriously, it may be the most important thing your own mind has tried to tell you in years. Just like Joan, you are being handed a message about your own power, your own truth, your own mission. And now, you have a choice. Listen or walk away from the only messenger brave enough to reach you. Part 2. No intro, we're diving right in. Because what we're talking about here, these aren't just gentle suggestions from your subconscious. No, these are non-negotiable truths delivered by your own mind, and we are going to decode them right now. So let's start with the big ones. The truths your waking mind is working so hard to avoid. The messages you keep pretending you can't hear. Think of it this way. Your own core belief system is staging an intervention. It's trying to correct a lie you've been telling yourself about your life, about your worth, maybe about your future. The point is this: the time for ignoring it is over. Let's be crystal clear about this. This dream isn't asking you to be sad. It's demanding that you let yourself be human, that you finally acknowledge a loss so you can actually truly move forward. Because unprocessed grief, it's poison. And don't worry, this is almost never about literal death. It's about the death of a chapter, a relationship, a job, a version of yourself that just doesn't fit anymore. This dream is your permission slip to let it go, before the cost of holding on gets catastrophic. Okay, now, this section isn't about looking for help from the outside, not at all. It's about taking inventory of the power you already have but are probably refusing to use. Now, don't you dare misinterpret this. This is not permission to just be passive and wait for someone to come rescue you. Your inner self is stepping up because somebody else stepped out. This dream is showing up because you absolutely are capable of setting the boundaries you need. You just have to believe you're protected enough to try.
You know, this is a direct command to anyone out there who is carrying a huge, heavy burden in total silence. The takeaway here isn't some theory. It's an order. Let someone help you. Today. Listen, the child in this dream, it's always your inner child. Always. Your psyche is screaming that she has been left unprotected for way too long. It's on you to give yourself what you never got. Tenderness is not weakness. It's medicine. All right, now we get to confront the parts of your psyche that hold your biggest, most feared potential. You know, the power you've been taught to be ashamed of.
Okay, first things first. Do not panic. This is not some bad omen. This is a reclamation. What part of you have you been told is too much, too ambitious, too loud, too sensitive? Your job now is to stop running from it and ask what it has that you need. The difference here is absolutely critical, and it all comes down to the emotional tone of the dream. How did it feel? Did it feel like you were running away from something? Or did it feel like you were finally arriving somewhere? Either way, the message is exactly the same. Your potential isn't a luxury. It's a responsibility. Use it. This one's not a suggestion. It's a non-negotiable command from your subconscious. If you dream that an angel is bringing you light, or a book, or any kind of gift, you are being given direct instructions. Your only job is to obey. Figure out what that talent or insight is and take just one, small, real-world action on it within the next 3 days. And that brings us right here, to the final, unavoidable call to action. The point where the dream world demands a real-world response from you. Look at this. The angel isn't a guide here. It's a catalyst. You are stalling on a major life decision, probably waiting for everyone else to get comfortable with it. Well, guess what? That consensus is never going to come. Your life requires a choice from you right now. So the application is immediate. What's the decision? Name it. Seriously, write it on a piece of paper. And now set a date, no more than 2 weeks from today, by which you will make it. I don't mean think about it, I mean make the decision. Remember this. An angel at your crossroads is not permission to stand still. It is a signal that the time for standing still has already passed.
So, you had the dream, you've picked it apart. Now what? Part 3. This is it. This is where the message turns into action. Because look, let's be totally honest here. Reading about your angel dream, thinking about it, even understanding it, all of that means absolutely nothing if your life doesn't actually change. So that brings us to the only question that really matters, right? What are you going to do? Okay, so I'm going to give you 6 different practices, and the rule for picking one is really simple. You pick the one that makes you the most uncomfortable. Seriously, that feeling, that resistance, that's your signal. That is the one you need to do.
All right, let's get into it. First up, we've got practices for anyone who processes things internally. You know who you are, the writers and the feelers.
Okay, if you're a writer, you need to listen up. The urgency here is insane. Your dream is literally evaporating as we speak. I mean, you lose 90% of it within 10 minutes of waking up. This message, it's perishable.
So here's the drill. Get a physical notebook, not your phone. The second your eyes open, you start writing.
Get the feelings down first, then the images. And you're going to end every single entry with this exact sentence. The truth this dream is showing me is, make sure you date it, then once a week you review. Look, this isn't just a diary, this is an intelligence gathering operation. Okay, now for the feelers. Your mind? It's the last one to get the memo. Your body has been holding on to this information way longer than your brain even knows. It's time to actually listen to it. So here's what you do. Before you even think about getting out of bed, just sit quietly for 5 minutes. Do a quick scan of your body, start at your feet and go all the way up. And for each little ache or buzz or whatever you ask it, what are you carrying? Now, the answer isn't going to be in words. It's going to be an emotion. Your only job is to find that emotion and then say it out loud. Relief. Grief. Ready. This isn't some woo-woo stuff. This is applied neuroscience. And trust me, it works a lot faster than trying to think your way through it. All right, next up. These practices are for those of you who need to get the message out of your head and into the real world. I'm talking to the creatives and the analysts. Okay, creatives, that main image from your dream, think of it like a photograph developing in a chemical bath that's about to expire. You have got to pull it out and make it real before it just dissolves into nothing. Get it onto paper right now. I don't care if you use a crayon, a pen, a piece of charcoal, whatever. Don't try to make it pretty, just let your hand move. Then, look at what you made. Your hand remembers things your mind has already forgotten. Write 3 words underneath that describe the feeling, and then post that thing somewhere you have to see it every single day.
And for my analysts, all the thinkers out there, your logical brain has been running the show. It's had its turn. It's been in charge for way too long. It is time to purposely get around it and let something else, some deeper part of you, speak.
This is a classic Jungian technique and it is powerful. In your journal, write a very specific question to the angel from your dream. Then, and this is the most important part, switch the pen to your other hand, your non-dominant hand, and just write the answer. No thinking, no editing, just let it flow. I promise you, what comes out will be more direct and more insightful than anything your logical mind could ever cook up. Okay, finally. For anyone who's feeling stuck, or for those of you who need other people to help you process, these last 2 practices are all about one thing: pure action.
So if you're at a crossroads right now, I need you to hear this loud and clear. Your indecision, that is a decision. It's a choice. It's a decision to let time and circumstance choose for you, and you have to stop it. Here's what you're going to do. Write down the exact decision you are avoiding. Then write down what it will cost you to decide. And then write down the cost of not deciding. Be honest. Now, pick a date on the calendar. A real one. Tell someone about it, and on that date, you make the call. End of story.
And you start that process now.
Okay, and for the connected people, the ones who get energy from others, you are not designed to figure out your inner life all by yourself. The whole idea that you're supposed to do this work in isolation, it's a myth, so just stop trying.
I want you to find 2 or 3 people you really, truly trust. Not just friends, but people whose judgment you respect. Share the dream with them. Every detail you can remember. Then you ask them one simple question. What does this bring up for you? And then you shut up. Your only job is to listen. No defending yourself, no explaining what you meant, just listen. What they reflect back to you will show you things you could never see on your own. This isn't a gossip session. This is sacred witnessing.
Let's get something straight about what this dream actually was. It wasn't a fluffy, feel-good moment. It wasn't just some pretty picture. It was intelligence. It was a navigation system. It was your deepest self sending a messenger to finally get through to you.
And let's put the scale of this task into perspective, okay? Joan of Arc's task was to change the course of a war. Your task, it's to change one thing. Just one. One conversation you've been avoiding. One boundary you need to set. One single choice. Take it. Now,